Surprise. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Jazz hands. Not that I ever, took jazz, but good morning. Who we got today? We've got Letty. Good morning. And Janice. Good morning. And look, Diane. Diane's here. Good morning. Barb. Hello, Barb. Barb, I saw the picture of your sewing room. Very nice sewing room. Let's see. Doug's here. Hey, Doug, you back in California yet? Or are you still traveling? Doug's supposed to go across the pond. Laddie, good morning. Love that hat. Laddie did a big promotional hat. Joanne, hey, good to see you. And Capricia, good morning. Good morning. Where am I? Oh, I lost place. There we are. Cindy's here. Good morning, Cindy. Cindy's anniversary was last week. So yeah, she's been celebrating all week. You know, that man of yours is quite handsome. I got my own. It's okay. He's also a very nice person. All right. So, good morning, everybody. What are we doing today? I tell you what we're doing today. There are a lot of you out there who maybe don't digitize or maybe just kind of dabble in digitizing. Oh, look. Doug says they're camping this weekend. Just a little bit from home, just a couple, 40 miles. Not bad. My man went to get donuts. I've been craving donuts. Must be that whole sugar thing. That is the embroidery room. Thank you. I have other spaces for sewing, DTF. Everybody, Barb has got quite the layout. We should all do a field trip and go to Barb's place. I think that would be awesome. Okay, so as I was saying, a lot of you are not necessarily digitizers. Maybe you kind of dabble in it a little bit, but the majority of the files that you use, maybe you have a digitizer like myself do those for you, or you buy ready-made stock files, and you've used them, and then now you need to make a couple of changes. You need to tweak them a little bit. Well, that's what we're going to do today. I'm going to show you how you can tweak a machine file, a DST, PES, VP3, etc., etc., EXP. There's dozens of them. But that's what we're going to do today. We are going to tweak a couple of files. And we're going to do it in Willcom. Willcom, the same technique in Willcom will work will work about the same in other softwares, with the exception of Embrilliance, which is why we're also going to do it in Embrilliance. All right. So if we're all ready, I'm going to, why have I no connection to my shared screen? Let's see if we can do this again. Share. There it is. Oh, that was a scary thing. Donuts do sound good. All right. So we're going to start with this file. This file started out as a patch. Oops, that was too big. Let's go to fit. This file started out as a patch. Well, they don't want it to be a patch anymore. They want to just stitch the company name and, the tagline, the vehicles. So we got to get rid of everything. if we look over here, and I'm going to drag this over here so you can see it a little bit more. I call it a film strip. It's in Wilcom. They actually call it a color object list, which basically just says they're showing you the color that's been set up for the object, and they're listing it. The objects, they're listing the objects in their appropriate colors. I just call it a film strip. So we know it's not going to be a patch anymore, so we can get rid of the placement stitch. So we just simply select that and hit delete. We don't need the tack down stitch anymore. We select that and delete. We don't need this background base anymore, so we're going to select that and delete. And we don't need the red border. I'm going to change this one's color so you can see it better. Now, we don't need this blue border either. But if you look over here, well, here it's pretty easy because this is set up as an object. Let me do this a little differently. We'll go to another file. Let's see if we can do something just because I'll show you in just a moment. This is the file. Down here, before you select your machine file in Wilcom, you can have it bring in as objects. Oh, and auto connectors. Oh, well, mine wasn't coming in as an object. Never mind. Well, let me just show you what it does. If you bring in your files, your machine files as objects, the software actually finds the borders of your objects and brings them in. I said okay, and open. Oh, that's what I was looking for. Okay. So, oh, sorry about that. So now if we look at our film strip, it's a little bit different. It's a little bit crazy. Each set of stitches is broken up, but that's okay. You have a point, Doug. A lot of the stock files that you buy, you have to be careful. Not everybody who has digitizing software is a digitizer. They can say they're a digitizer because they own digitizing software, but there is actually a skill involved in digitizing, and that is something that a lot of stock files that you find out there are not. So if you want stock files, and that's wonderful, you just need to find a good, reputable provider of those files. Okay, so again, we know it's not going to need a placement stitch, so we can go ahead and delete that, and it's not going to need the tack down stitch, and we're not going to need any of this black. We could delete each section by itself. Oh, that must be all the underlay. There we go. Don't need this little bit either. Don't need any of the red. But here, and again, I'm going to change this color so you can see it. What has happened is the software has broken the elements within your design into sections. Come on, give me this back. There we go. For example, this section here, that's just part of the underlay. This right here, That's part of our satin stitch, and here's more underlay. The idea is that when you want to do a full deletion, you can actually select the parts that you don't want and get rid of them. But we want to keep our underlay. Again, another point, Doug. They usually buy a machine file, can't really do much with it. They just take it to their machine, stitch it out. They don't even necessarily have embroidery software of any type to make any kind of minor edits or see what's going on with it. Hey, Evelyn. Hey, Evelyn. Evelyn, we're talking about how to edit machine files when you need to make changes for your client. Okay, so now we know that all of this blue is supposed to stitch. In fact, let me put this back over here, and we're going to close it. And we're going to just run this so you can see it's all supposed to, of course now it's going to stitch in sections, but it's all supposed to stitch the whole blue. S. And ultimately we want to get rid of this border. So you get the idea. But over here in the film strip, we need to find the border pieces. Good morning. Good evening. Actually, it is morning here, Brendan. Thank you. In our film strip, and please forgive me, Brendan, I renamed your color object list. I just shortcut it to film strip because it's a strip of detail. We're going to select the parts of this border that we want to get rid of. We don't want to get rid of anything having to do with our S. We don't want to get rid of anything having to do with any of our text. We don't want to get rid of this line underneath the text. We just want to get rid of the border. So we're going to start up here, and we're going to see that this selected object is over here. So we know we don't want that, so we're going to get rid of it. Delete. We go to the next one, and we see it's here, so we're going to delete. If, and this is again in Wilcom, if we cannot figure out where in our design, and here I am trying to show you with my hands, where in our design a part is located, we can hit the locate button here, and it will show us where it is. So we know that that's an area we want to get rid of. So we select it and we delete. Now, once you get used to this, once you've done this a while, you can make some assumptions. You can select everything that looks like it might be part of the border and just do a delete. Okay, so I'm going to put this back over here, and we're going to zoom out a little bit. And we have this little bugger right here. What is that little bugger? It's part of our border. We don't need it. So we've selected it, and we're going to delete. Doug, I agree. When I'm doing an edit for a machine file, I'll delete all the underlay, I'll delete all the travel stitches, and redo those. But remember, we're talking specifically to our users who are working with stock files and are not digitizers. So we're going to stick with the basics. So we have gone here. Here's a little one here. What is that? Oh, that's part of our S. So we're going to keep that. The only other thing that we want to change is this letter P should be on top of our line. So let's see if we can't select this letter P in all of its parts. And we have it. And what can we do with that? Oh, it's all right here. And we're going to move it down. Evelyn, that's okay. You have digitizers available to you that will help you with that. But if you need to make a change, you don't necessarily need a digitizer like me. So I'm going to just move this section down until it pops up over this line. And look, now we have a file that our client wants. Took it from a patch and made it into a direct-to-stitch garment. All right, so that's this one. What do you think? Okay, we have another one. This file, and please forgive me, I didn't want to forget what the font was, so I wrote it here off to the side. This file measures out at 64, almost 65 millimeters. So that's just over 2.5 inches. Well, they've decided that at 2.5 inches, they want to keep the 2.5 inches, but at 2.5 inches, they feel that the text inside the inner circle is too small. So again, we need to find that text and delete it. And then we need to put it back. We need to put it back, and they want it underneath our design file. So again, just like with the other file, we need to find out where this text is. Now, I did not break these down into their individual stitches like we did with the last one. So we can just select the part that says school, that one there, and delete it. Actually, I don't want to delete it because I need to remember what it says. So we're just going to move it off to the side. Then we're going to we're going to select our whole, and we're going to put it over here. Then we're going to select Christ, recolor it, and put it over here. So now we have pulled all of that text out of here. I'm glad to see you're back, Brendan. Thought we might have lost you there for a minute. Okay, so now we need to put it back. I gotta move my coffee someplace that it's not going to spill. And grab up my handy dandy keyboard. Going to our text. We're going to type. The phrase is actually our whole school for Christ. We're going to create our text. Hey Frank, good to see you here today. I'll try to talk loud. Well, you know, you have volume control. That's almost too big. Let's bring it down to a 5 millimeter. Much better. Now, in this file that we're editing, this is the only part that is now a true native portion of the file, which means that we can enlarge it, we can arch it. Everything we would normally do when digitizing, we can do to this section. Can't necessarily do it to this section because this is a machine file, a machine element. So let's go ahead and flatten that back out. We could do some editing to the letters. Maybe we want these letters to spread out a little bit more. Maybe we want the words to be a little bit closer. Maybe we want everything to be centered. Centered. Oh, it is centered. What am I doing? Or we want everything to be centered here, so I'm going to make sure that that's grouped. Then I'm going to center this, centered. And then I can get rid of all of this. Just highlight it, delete. All right? Now, digitizing softwares make this pretty easy. It's just a matter of finding the parts of the design file that you need to remove and, if necessary, replace. So this is now just a nice left chest logo. You can actually read all of the text here. Over here, oh, different file. Remember, I opened this up twice. And again, our P is in the wrong place. Oh. Let's see if we can change that. Nope, because this is all one piece. Okay, anyways, we've done that one already. Now, again, Wilcom, Floriani, Pulse, they're full digitizing software. So this is pretty easy. You just find the element you want, remove it, shift it, move it, change its color, whatever you need to do to get the file that your client wants. In Brilliance is different. In Brilliance, I'm using Essentials and Enthusiast. Those are the two modules that I need to make these edits. In Brilliance, their first modules, Enthusiast and Essentials and Enthusiast, are editing elements, editing modules. That's their purpose. Their purpose is to edit a machine file. So how do we do that in Brilliance? We're going to open up their film strip, and we're going to see the same type of elements. Here is the placement stitch, select it and delete. Here is the tack down stitch, select it and delete. The background fill, select and delete. The red border, select and delete. But here we have the same issue. Let me change its color so you can see it. How do we get rid of this border? We can't obviously select it and delete it. That's going to take the whole thing. This is where the Enthusiast comes in. Enthusiast allows you, there we go, to select portions. I don't know if you can see this. Can you see that it's changed to show stitch points? Can you see the stitch points in here? And as my pointer runs over it, they bounce up, they highlight. Okay. What we need to do is we need to lasso. That's what they call it, lasso, which just means selecting. We're going to use this freehand selection icon, and we're going to select everything here, which now highlights all of these points, and we're going to delete. Okay, so this is still connected, but that's okay because we're going to the next selected area. see if we can't make this bigger. We're going to select our freehand. We're going to select it, highlight it, delete it. And we're going to go around and do that with the whole design. Oops. All right. Still working. And of course, you want to be careful that you don't pick up any of the notes that you want to keep. That could be, oh, that's exactly, no, I did not. And if you did accidentally delete something, you can always back up. You could always undo. Okay, there we are. There is our client's file made ready for a direct to garment stitch out. Not bad, huh? What about that other one? What about the one with the words? This one. And again, I used the word future. I used the font name so I wouldn't forget. But yeah, I don't need that anymore. So, same as before, I'm going to go over here and select it and delete it. Okay, let's increase this. This one's going to be a little trickier. We're going to select our background and lock it because we don't want it to be part of our editing. Now, we don't want to do that. We want to get rid of these words. So this is going to be a little bit tricky because it's really kind of tight in here. We're going to lasso and delete. Now we left something here. We can select that one little node, that one little penetration that we missed, and delete it. But see, this is now a travel stitch because we're saying end. Oh wait, that's part of our previous stitching. Yep. We're going to delete that one, and delete that one. All right. There we go. That looks much better. Go to our next set. Select our lasso. Carefully go around. If you miss something, you can always go back and pick it up. Lasso. In fact, we're going to miss something on purpose here. Miss a couple of somethings. Select the piece that we missed and delete. A piece that we miss and delete and delete. We can move these out of the way because we don't want to get them. Did she? What a small world. Evelyn was just saying that her granddaughter graduated from Spelman College. Isn't that fun? All right, so we deleted those last bits. Going to take an overall look. And of course, then it's just a matter of adding our text. Select the font. And I selected a small font that can go under here. And ta-da! You save it as a new file. Any questions? Any thoughts? I really think, let me bring myself back up here. Come on. My little hand won't work. I'm back. Yay. I really think it is important for, good morning, Lisa. Lisa, you just missed my whole embrollance preparation here. Oh, I'll get right back to you, Cindy. I really think it's important if you are going to be an embroiderer, whether it's a hobby, friends and family, uh, uh, as a business, if you're going to create design files and layouts for other people using stock files. Remember, this is all about using stock files or machine files. What you want to do is to be able to make minor changes. You don't have to be a veteran digitizer to do this. You just need to know how to work with your software. You need to know how to select the parts you want to remove or change, and you need to know how to add in new parts, again, for those changes. I'm trying, Lisa, for you, I'm not trying to take your place. Nobody, you never be able to take your place. But I do want to try to, incorporate in Brilliance editing with other digitizing software editing, because your software is so popular. And Lisa says, I think everyone should be able to customize and create simple layouts with existing designs. Exactly. You don't need to pay a digitizer to come along and say, get rid of this and add this. You can do that yourself. And that's what we want to promote. Oh, thank you, Lisa. Lisa likes my approach. I'm flattered. Okay, now, I know it's the end. I wanted to get up here to Cindy. Cindy is taking my digitizing class. It's a digitizing class with homework. Yeah, I know. And she wanted to say that she didn't want to interrupt, but wanted to say how much she's enjoying the class. I haven't gotten through the whole lesson yet, but replay. I'm recording the lessons for those who maybe can't make a particular lesson, and making it available to them. Let's see. Exactly, Lisa, it is. When you, the embroiderer, can make these minor edits yourself, you're not only saving time. You send a design to me and you say, bye Diane, have a good weekend. You say, I need you to remove this and I need you to put it down here. Okay, so now you got to type that instruction out. You have to send it to your digitizer. Digitizer has to access that email. They may not do their emails like as soon as they jump up. So it might be hours before they actually see it. And then maybe there's some back and forth instruction. Then they actually get the work done. It may be 24 hours or longer before you get your file back. And in the meantime, you have a file that needs to be stitched, but you can't do anything because you don't have the file. Where if you had been able to do this yourself, if you had understood that you could do this yourself, you have the idea, you have the file, you know what you need to do, and you do it. And then within minutes, you could have the whole thing done. Barb, you have a great weekend too. I'm baking bread this week. Okay, I do not bake. I do not bake. I bought a bread machine. It's gonna do the baking for me. All I have to do is mix everything up. All right, everybody, have a wonderful weekend, and thank you so much for being here. Not quite sure where we're going next week, but we'll figure something out. We always do. And I'm going over here to my ending and saying goodbye. Fun? Do you have more questions? Do you want to learn something new? Join me at quicktostitch.com for coffee and conversation, and we'll talk about it. Embroidery machines, designs, and business. Hope to see you soon. Bye now.